we have gone through a change now. I think that, and I'm sure Sly will agree with that, that the 80s was much more an era where you had to do much more violent movies. That was the in thing in the 80s. I think that the 90s, we are concentrating much more on family-oriented movies, even Last Action Hero. So I think the 90s action heroes will be much more multidimensional than in the 80s.
If you were to ask someone of my age who the biggest action film stars are, I'm sure they would most likely say Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone and Bruce Willis. Now, they have all dabbled with comedies in their time, but I would put Bruce Willis in a different category from the other two.
So the British have said that you and Sigourney Weaver are the two movie stars that they think are most likely to be able to actually save the world.
I have a theory. Not a scientific theory. In fact, I'd say it was probably closer to conspiracy were it not for the fact that I believe it to have happened by accident. But I think that Bruce Willis spent most of his career following a path he didn't want to follow, which is to say, action films.
Prior to this point in time, somewhere in the past, the timeline skewed into this tangent, creating an alternate 1985.
As I'm sure we all know, Bruce Willis was forced to retire from acting due to a progressive form of dementia. His last movie was shot in 2021 and released 2 years later. And a lot has been made of the movies he made before his retirement. A series of straight-to-video action movies normally shot in about a week, with Willis filming for approximately a day. Apparently he knocked these films out in quick succession for financial security for his then forthcoming retirement. And if that is the case, I can hardly blame him.
This is how it's gonna go.
I'll tell you how. I'm gonna shove a Christmas tree up your ass and set it on fire.
A Christmas tree up my ass.
All the way.
Okay.
And although it's hard to tell when the dementia started to kick in, I think it's safe to say that he stopped giving it his all long before it became a notable problem.
If I don't like the lines, the delivery, then I go over and I start tweaking. So I'd be like, all right, man, Trace, that fucking kangaroo thing was fun. Keep the kangaroo thing. Don't forget that other thing about the red light. And don't forget to end with that big smile you do. But that's about, all right, we'll go again. That's pretty much how I direct. It's not anything more than that. It's not like, some people think it's like all Sam Mendes and shit. Not really. It's not like you're an antelope. And all of these are lions, but they don't know that you're an antelope. They think you're a lion too. Action. There's just do us an 8 10. It's like go in there and say some funny shit and do this. It's written down for you. It'll make it even easier. So, you do that. Sometimes people just kind of know they do that. Other times people just go like, oh, no. This was one of those times where Bruce would just kind of make clear that he's the author of his performance. Didn't need be help. Like, I'd go over there and be like, all right, man. So that was great, boss. Excellent take. Do me a favor. Would you do that thing about Geraldo? Make sure you kind of put the cup down and give him one of those Bruce Willis looks at you. And then say affably. Say affably. They use it that way at you. And Bruce was kind of looking away while I was talking. Which is good, because then he used that for the dramatic Bruce Willis turn. And he goes, okay, Cab, come back to the monitor. We'll try that. I was like, thanks, boss. I went back to the monitor and shit. Watching, sitting down next to Ab Siegel, exec producer on the movie. I'm like, action. Watching the monitor going, all right, yeah. Wow, he's doing the same fucking thing he just did in the take. He didn't say nothing about those things. I said, maybe, you know what? He probably didn't hear. Guy.
Now, I think if you were to ask the actors at the start of this video who was the best actor of the three of them, even they would say Bruce Willis. And if you look at his mid-period career, you can find some excellent films. 12 Monkeys, Sixth Sense, Unbreakable. But these roles are padded out with a lot of rather unremarkable action films. But if we look at Willis's early career, he started out in comedy, most notably the hit show Moonlighting with Sybil Shepherd.
And in the book you talk about how you and Bruce would actually sometimes fight before the things that you fought?
Yes, we had fights all the time. And that was part of the preparation, was that working up to it, so it was real.
Bruce Willis's first movie as a leading man was Blind Date, a rather good comedy written and directed by Blake Edwards, the same man who made the Pink Panther movies.
We must find that woman.
The role of John McClane in Die Hard was offered to Sylvester Stallone, Mel Gibson, Burt Reynolds, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and even Frank Sinatra before it was accepted by Bruce Willis. And the trade papers at the time saw that as being the curveball. Why would you cast a comedy actor in an action film?
Who are you?
An Easter Bunny. 3rd floor, toys.
The film, of course, was a huge hit. But if you look at the movies Willis made straight after that, they were mostly comedies. Look Who's Talking 1 and 2, some film called That's Adequate, which I haven't seen, Death Becomes Her, Loaded Weapon 1, and these films were punctuated with the odd drama like Bonfire of the Vanities or In Country. And then there was the action fare like Die Hard 2 and The Last Boy Scout. His filmography starts to change towards action in about 1996 with Last Man Standing, before becoming overwhelmingly action orientated in 2013 with Die Hard 5.
I'll ask you guys, what about the tie? What, Good Day to Die? Are you confused by it?
I was, but I've thought about it and I'm alright with it now. Yeah.
But it's never a good day to die out, is it? Yeah, it's not, I don't quite understand. It's a good day. Yeah, I'm still working on it.
It's hard to say when he stopped caring because a lot of these action movies were big hits and the comedies were not. And when it comes to big studio movies, they're always going to follow the money. But was that where Bruce's heart was? Well, if we look at both of the movies on which Bruce Willis has writing credit, Hudson Hawk and Return of Bruno, both are comedies.
It's a lot harder and a lot more challenging, and yet you get to laugh so much more, you know, and in between takes you got guys like Kevin Pollak and Matthew Perry just cracking you up all the time.
I have a feeling that Bruce wanted to make more films like the ahead of its time comedy Breakfast of Champions, which I believe until very recently Willis himself owned the rights to.
People know who you are, don't they?
In 1997, Bruce Willis was set to star in a film that he was also producing about a professional ice hockey player called Broadway Brawler. After 2 years of pre-production, it shot for 20 days, but Bruce Willis was dissatisfied with their work and fired a number of crew members, including the cinematographer and the director. Willis went on and hired a new director, but filming never restarted and the project was scrapped, which is disappointing as it's a film that we don't get to see. But it also shows that Bruce really cared about the movie's quality, which is not something you could say about Cosmic Sin.
Better them than us.
And I think it's a real shame that Bruce Willis didn't get to make more comedies while he still had the ability to make them. Instead, he got sidelined into a career jumping out the way of explosions. If you would like to support this channel, then you can send me the price of a cup of coffee via this website here. There's a link in the description if you'd like it. Do leave a comment if you think I'm onto something, or even if you think I'm talking out my hat. I'm Scott Kingsnorth, and I'm making a movie.